This is an update on how I'm doing, how we're doing, since my heart ablation, October 2021. But before I start with the update, for those that have not watched my previous videos, I want you to understand why I'm on YouTube. The reason I'm on YouTube is I was a 9/11 pre-event witness in 2000. So I knew of the attacks a year and a half before, and I became a monitored witness that the government was watching. I'm not supposed to tell anybody about the attacks beforehand or leak any information afterwards. Well, while I was that witness, I was trying to start an internet business. And I had worked on the business plan ever since my female friend was getting ready to start college, and she contracted spinal meningitis and became paralyzed. The whole business idea was to help her, and then as the business plan expanded, it was going to help a lot more other people. Well, when the government got involved monitoring me, it pretty much cut off all my access to the outside world. Well, I was trying to make ends meet, and I let a young Harvard student stay at my home. His name was Marcel Elliott Zuckerberg. You know him as Mark. Mark learned of the internet business plan that I created, and he offered to help me start it by finding me the investors I needed, and he offered to do the coding. But a day later, the lawyer Howitson got involved, that was a mentor to Mark Zuckerberg, and Mark Zuckerberg insisted that he wanted my business plan since he found me the investors and he could do the coding and he could get it online a lot faster. I agreed to enter into a business agreement with him to let him use it for a return. It seemed like a good idea at the time. The problem was, after we entered into the business agreement and we had witnesses, Mark decided that he wanted my intellectual rights to the business plan. And then he tried to get out of paying me. He said then that he didn't want any recordings taken of him or any proof that he was there. He wouldn't give me a copy of the business contract. And before he left, he took everything with him. He was here twice. The first time he was here, he drove a little silver car, and he had his best friend with him, Sjogren. Then on the holiday weekend, he came here with his girlfriend that he had just met not too many weeks before, Priscilla Chan, and her dog. So the point is, why I'm doing this, is people to understand what happened to me after Mark robbed me. He left me flat broke. I had to sell my home. My health was bad. I was trying to help my friend. She died before getting to use the internet business. She was paralyzed. It was going to be her connection to the outside world, and she couldn't contact me. She died. So everything I did was for nothing. So now, here's how I'm doing. Well, I had the heart surgery done. And to start with, I was not doing too good. I had about 2-3 months where I was doing pretty good. I felt so much better than I did before. But these diseases that I have, Emery, dreifuss, muscular dystrophy, which is in the same category as limb-girdle, but Emery, dreifuss, muscular dystrophy has the added heart issue. It attacks the heart first, and it's a continual problem. And we're learning this because after they did the heart ablation, I'm already going back downhill. I'm now on 3 times the heart medication that I was before the heart surgery. I still feel better than I was before, and it was putting me in, the Emery dreifuss muscular dystrophy put me in congestive heart failure. But I'm still doing better than I was, but only if I'm on 3 times more medication than I had before. I also have a disease called Sjogren's. And Sjogren's is absolutely nightmarish if you don't understand, it. And if you don't, I suggest you look it up. They're all advancing. They're getting worse. I can walk. Thankfully, I can walk. They don't know how far advanced I'm going to get with the Emery dreifuss muscular dystrophy. I'm the first one found with the SIGN1 gene related to it. So they don't know if I'm going to get full-blown muscular dystrophy and not be able to walk and in a wheelchair, or be lucky enough that I'm just not moving too good and that I'll be dealing with contractions the rest of my life. And the contractions are when your arms won't straighten out, your legs won't straighten out, your neck is at a crook, and I'm already having a problem with my arms. My movement, it's hard. It's impossible to put my arms behind my back. It's hard to shave. It's hard to comb my hair, so that's why I have it short like I do. It makes getting dressed a challenge sometimes. Going to the bathroom. Doing that natural thing that everybody does. It's hard when your arm doesn't want to bend around you. It's making me, the 2 diseases are making me very, very tired. I want energy and I can't get it. I've also been losing blood for years. So I have to constantly take iron to get my rate back up. But the more I do, the more my muscle enzyme rate goes up, and then I get sick. In fact, with these 2 diseases together, I've had doctors tell me that never do any more or any less than the day you did before. Be able to stay at one level. And that's hard to do. And people with these 2 diseases tend to be exercise intolerant. That means you get active and you get sick. And I want to be active. Now here's a big problem that we have right now. Got my mom right there. She's 82 years old. She's got a fake hip, right? You got a fake hip. Got a fake hip. 2 implant knees. The first generation where they would literally whack off the bone and then replace it with a big metal joints that look like something from the Terminator. She can't walk anymore. It started, she was falling. Now she can't walk no more. So what's happening is I have to take care of her 24 hours a day. I have to wheel her to the bathroom and help her out. I have to wheel her to the kitchen. I do everything exception of bathe you and the bills, pretty much, right? And you can tell I'm feeling pretty bad about that. So, with the health problems I have, I can't work. But even if I could, I gotta take care of Mom. And that leads me to a point again, Mark Howitson and Mark Zuckerberg. If you would have just paid me, or even started to pay me, some of the money that you owed me, we would be okay. Because of what you did and you left me broke, I can't get the health care that I desperately need. I have to take care of her, and I can't hire any help. This house needs, which is very small, needs to be converted over for to make it easier for me to take care of her, and I can't do that. But if you wouldn't have left me broke, I could. Now, I was working until I became that 9/11 pre-event witness, and then my health went downhill. There is no Social Security for me to rely on. I wasn't able to get disability. In fact, the judge, when I went to go file, he threw everything out an hour before the case. What does he talk about? The judge talks about 9/11 and being a pre-event witness. Not about the health care. Want to know why? Because when I became the 9/11 pre-event witness, the government got involved in everything about me. They blacklisted me. They got into my health care. They got into my disability. They used every agency they could to make my life a living hell. And because I said I didn't think it was right to attack our own people, and I went against it, they punished me. So here I am now. I have friends, relatives, and some very good neighbors that seen what happened when I was monitored by the government. Those same people were also witnesses when Mark was here. They've been sticking by my side. But there's other people that are in disbelief that have not. Surprisingly, I don't even have a classmate that has even called me, emailed me, sent me a letter saying, "Hey, Lynn, I see how you're doing." Nothing. So this is where we are. So I told you I had to sell my home long ago, right? Well, I sold my home to fix the place I grew up in, where I can take care of my mom. After Mark left. You know how much money we live off of? We get $1,500 a month. That's for Social Security. With that, we pay a $250 electric bill. How much is your insurance for your health care? $350. House insurance? $100 a month. So, what do we have left? Pretty much nothing, right? Pretty much absolutely nothing. So Mark, thanks to you ripping me off, I got to get into a food line for food. But I'll say the church has been very nice. I go to the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And they have been very, very helpful. But no matter how cold it is, no matter how hot it is, I have to wait for hours in line and do that. So this is where I am. My health is getting worse. And I'm doing these videos because I want people to see what Mark did. And I want people to see how it's affected me. Now, what have I done with this, trying to expose what Mark did afterwards? Well, I'll tell you what, the government has not been any help at all. In fact, the government is ignoring me, the Department of Justice, because they said if they don't want to help me, because if they do, somebody might realize why they were monitoring me. I was told that there is footage in the archives that would most likely prove within no doubt what Mark did, because they were monitoring my phone, they were monitoring my internet, and when Mark was here, they were standing on top of the hill with a parabolic dish listening to us and videotaping us. But they don't want to get involved. Well, So you know what my opinion was on that? If you're going to keep hiding behind the 9/11 bit because you don't want people to know the truth, then let's just get it out in the open. So I copied off a bunch of files, and I sent a bunch of papers off to the Meta Board of Directors, the Department of Justice, and Mark Howitson, the lawyer, where we could all be on the same level. But now everybody knows exactly what happened. And there was a phone call that my mom had made when she had enough of Mark Howitson. And she recorded him. She asked, if you remember, Lynn, do you remember calling during the battle over Facebook, asking for my son to give a statement that he gave the business plan to Mark Zuckerberg and his intellectual rights to it? What does the lawyer say? Sure, I remember, Lynn. But then Mom asked, well, I want a copy of that call log and a statement from you. What does Mark Howitson say? Oh, no, you can't ask for that. It's been more than 10 years ago. There's client privilege. You can't do that. There you go. That ain't much, but that proves it right there. It did happen. Mark Zuckerberg is a liar, a thief, and a fraud. He entered into a business agreement. I was supposed to get a percentage back. You know what? If I would have got the percentage back, it would have been well worth it. Because I would have left him alone. People would have known that he's a fraud and a thief. Harvard gave him a degree because it was such a great idea. Guess what, Harvard? You gave the degree to the wrong person. The person that created it was me. I created the business plan. I'm the one that did all the research. It was my friends and family experiences that I used to create it, not Mark's. Well, I'm going to wrap this up here in just a minute. But here's what I'm going to do. So the Department of Justice won't get off their ass and help me. And I understand they say, oh, it's been more than 10 years. Well, you know, it's been more than 10 years and I'm still trying to get help because the Department of Justice wouldn't budge. Okay. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start revealing all the things that the Department of Justice don't want to know. First off, I'm going to make a video and I'll let everybody know what they didn't want known about 9/11. And it's pretty shocking because if you look at the world events that are happening today, a lot of the things that were planned are happening now. And there's still more yet to come. And how about that virus? You like that? Well, guess what? They had a plan to release some viruses. But that was a plan. I didn't know for sure if it was going to be done. But it is now, isn't it? And we knew it was coming.
Yep.
So, I'm going to pick on one senator. I got to see the business plan, I got to see the 9/11 terrorist plans. I got to see some government papers. I got to see some names on those government papers with a very unique header. But there's one senator I'm going to choose out of all those names because that senator's from Iowa. And wouldn't it really be something? The terrorist plans, that FBI agent told us to destroy them. But he wouldn't reach down and pick up those plans. And he wouldn't take them with him. Because that FBI agent, if he was to pick it up, touch it, look at it, acknowledge that it existed, then he would have to legally acknowledge that he knew about the attacks. There was a complaint filed by me with the FBI way back when, because I was getting repeated death threats from the government. That they were going to kill me off, my friends, my family, and anybody that I told to try to stop it. Or inform anybody of the future events beyond 9/11. Or I revealed some of the people involved in it. Well, that one name that was on there, what's his name?
Senator
Yes.
Gottfried.
The senator that preaches law with no law degree. Surprise! So I'm going to be doing some videos. And I'm going to be doing some videos revealing things if they don't want to be known. And I'm not going to stop there. There's a big problem going around right now. There is so many people that have died. The murdered and the missing. The cases don't get solved. Well, I know something about some of them. And you know what? The Department of Justice ain't going to like that either. And I know something about the henchman. Right?
Yeah.
What they do. The fixers. Who they are. In fact, they affected my life pretty good. Well, not good, a bad way, right? Yeah. I'm going to expose it all. So, start watching my videos. They're going to get really interesting. Thank you.